Today, we're diving into a story that sits right at the intersection of technology, tragedy, and some really tough questions about responsibility. It's about a warning that an AI sent out, a warning that, for all intents and purposes, was never heard. This is a story about a system failure, and it has some massive implications for all of us. So let's open up the case file. Our story doesn't actually begin with an algorithm or a piece of code. It starts on a specific day in a very specific town. It's a day that just ripped open this fatal gap between what our tech can now see and what our human systems are prepared to do about it. The setting is this small Canadian town, Tumbler Ridge. We're talking a community of maybe just over 2,000 people. And on this day, that community was absolutely shattered by an act of violence, one that was brutal, yes, but also one we would later find out was entirely preventable. Eight people lost their lives. It's just a number on a screen, but it represents this immense, devastating loss for so many families and for an entire town. And among the victims was an 11-year-old boy. He was the shooter's own half-brother, killed before the main attack even got underway. This, right here, is the human cost at the very heart of this story. So here are the stark facts. The attacker was an 18-year-old former student, Jesse Van Rootselaar. He targeted his own family at home first and then moved on to the local high school. The victims were his mother, his half-brother, 5 young students, and an education assistant. It was a truly horrific event that left a whole nation in mourning. But here's the thing. The real story, the one we really need to unpack today, isn't just about what happened on that awful day. It's about what happened months before. It's about a very clear signal of danger that was picked up by an AI, but then just got lost in this void of human policy. This is the question that just haunts the Tumbler Ridge case. What if someone, or something, knew this was coming? Well, the truth is, something did. This timeline, it just reveals this critical, incredibly frustrating gap. Back in June of 2025, a full 8 months before the shooting, an AI account linked to the shooter gets flagged by OpenAI for violent content. The company's trust and safety staff reviewed it, and they banned the account. Now, at this stage, you'd say the system worked, right? The warning signal was captured. So why wasn't law enforcement notified? Well, this is the heart of the whole issue. OpenAI decided that the shooter's content, while it was serious enough for a ban, didn't meet their internal threshold of an imminent and credible risk. And that's the key. It's a corporate policy, not a legal standard. And because of that internal call, the warning went absolutely nowhere. This decision highlights a massive discrepancy. Because, you see, in the human world, for certain professionals, we have an established legal concept for exactly this kind of situation. It's called the duty to warn. It actually came out of another tragic case, which led to what's called the Tarasoff rule. And this duty legally requires people like therapists to break confidentiality and alert the authorities or even potential victims if they genuinely believe a patient is a credible, serious threat. Society basically decided that the duty to protect the public can, in very specific cases, outweigh patient privacy. And when you look at this comparison, you see the fundamental disconnect. For human therapists, there are legal frameworks, mandatory reporting requirements. But for an AI platform that's detecting similar threats, but at a global scale, there's no equivalent legal duty, none. They're just operating based on their own internal, voluntary policies with zero external oversight. So the Tumbler Ridge tragedy wasn't just a failure of one company's policy. No, it pulls back the curtain on a much bigger problem, a global system that is just full of gaps, where our laws have not even come close to catching up with our technology. And this exact problem was actually diagnosed in a huge report. It was commissioned by the UK government, written by experts from over 30 countries. The 2026 International AI Safety Report is a crucial piece of evidence for us to understand how a failure like this could even happen. So, what did the report find? It found that the world of AI safety is dangerously fragmented. Governments are stuck in what they call an evidence dilemma. They're scared to regulate too early, but they risk absolute tragedy if they wait too long. And meanwhile, these powerful AI models are being rolled out way faster than we can evaluate them, and all the safety practices are basically voluntary and all over the place. The report's big recommendation is this concept called defense in depth. The idea is simple. No single safeguard is ever enough. An AI flag should just be the first layer. The next layers? Clear company policies, legal duties to escalate threats, and a resilient society are just as vital. In Tumbler Ridge, that first layer worked, but the chain of defense was broken immediately after. This whole situation creates a kind of paradox. I mean, we often worry about AI creating a minority report scenario, right? A future where AI is way too aggressive in predicting crime. But Tumbler Ridge? Well, it reveals the exact opposite danger. Think about it. The typical fear with pre-crime AI is overprediction and bias, where these systems unfairly target marginalized communities. But the failure in Tumbler Ridge was one of under-intervention. A system spotted a real threat, a genuine signal of danger, but that signal led to absolutely nothing. The harm wasn't a violation of rights, the harm was a preventable massacre. And that brings us to the ultimate question this case forces us all to confront. When our technology can see things that we can't, who is actually responsible for acting on that knowledge? It really was a chain of failure. Step 1, the technology did its job. An AI system flagged dangerous content. Step 2, the human system failed. A corporate policy, probably designed to manage liability, prevented that flag from becoming a real warning. And step 3, the entire governance system failed. There were no national or international rules in place to force anyone to do anything. This quote from the Globe and Mail just sums it up perfectly. The core issue is a governance gap. Our laws and our regulations simply have not kept pace with the power of the technologies we're deploying across our entire society. And this is the question that Tumbler Ridge leaves us with. As these systems get more and more woven into our lives, detecting signals of both incredible opportunity and incredible danger, we have to decide who is ultimately responsible, not just for the technology itself, but for the information it uncovers. The AI sent a warning. Who is responsible for listening?